Yeah. Can you see my screen? Hello? Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Thank you very much. So you're very welcome for this event, the ideation session that is in preparation for the solution challenge that is going to happen next year, January 2022. Yeah, 2022 on the 10th. So that's when the solution challenge is commencing. So my name is Bukira Halima, the GDSC lead for Makerere University, and you're very welcome for this session. Thank you very much for sparing some of your time to join in. Yes, and yeah, this is the chapter, the Google Developer Student Clubs chapter for Makerere University. And in case you're new here and you want to know about what the Google Developer Student Clubs are, I'm going to play a short video that is going to introduce you to the Google Developer Student Clubs.
Student clubs train hundreds of thousands of university student developers globally while having fun. Google Developer Student Clubs train hundreds of thousands of university student developers globally while having fun getting to know other students at their school. Google selects students with strong leadership skills from across the globe once a year to start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower each other to solve real problems around them. Students can participate in the annual Solution Challenge by Google developers to solve for one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Join us in building a global community for students in technology.
Okay, so yep, this is about, wait.
Google Developer Student.
Do you want me to play the video again? Hello, can I get some feedback, please?
Yes.
You want me to play the, okay, yeah.
Google Developer Student Clubs train hundreds of thousands of university student developers globally while having fun getting to know other students at their school. Google selects students with strong leadership skills from across the globe once a year to start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower each other to solve real problems around them. Students can participate in the annual Solution Challenge by Google developers to solve for one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Join us in building a global community for students in technology.
All right, so if you are new here and you don't know about the Google Developer Student Clubs, hope this video is helpful. Yes, so it's supposed to happen in every campus, and in Uganda we have only 14 chapters, and I believe we have more than 14 universities in Uganda. So our main aim as GDSC MUK is to make sure that we help fellow students, because we are still students ourselves, to help fellow students be able to find their place in this space, in the tech space, provide them with the necessary resources that are always provided to us by Google to be able to thrive. So yeah, that is who we are. And about the solution challenge that is happening next year, the reason why we set up this session, this ideation session, is to prepare you guys for the solution challenge. And the reason why we have set it up now in November is because you know how tight our schedule is at school. And next year, we're going to be in exams. Right now, we have tests and everything is so crazy. But if we, that's why we thought of it and then decided to put it at this point in time, at this time, and so that we can start working on our different projects. And so by the time we reach January, we have something to show, we have something to present. We are not like left behind. So that's the reason why we put the ideation session at this time, so that we can start working on our projects early enough, know what is needed, know what is required, yeah, and then work on them. So this is a short video that talks about the solution challenge, talks about the tips. They're going to be talking about some of the tips that you should know while developing or before entering the solution challenge.
My best tip is don't get overwhelmed by the amount of work. Just start working on your project and see how the steps unravel.
So my advice for student developers is to stay curious and to stay open. Often there are multiple ways leading to a result. You just gotta stay curious enough to learn about them.
We should always look for problems to solve in our community, and we should never be afraid to make mistakes, because it's from these mistakes that we make that we learn.
Please make sure that you have already spoken with the people from your target group and make sure that the people really need your idea.
Remember that when you get stuck, it means that you're going through uncharted territories, and that's when the learning happens. Be patient and have fun.
My advice is to have trust in yourself, trust in your team, trust in your mentor, and also trust the process.
As a developer, remember performing a tech equivalent of CPR whenever the program crashes. It's called CDR. Code, decode, recode.
To all developers out there, don't underestimate yourself and your dreams.
People are almost always willing to share. So try and understand their pain points and use technology to build solutions which will help them. Once you have an idea you believe in, you're already halfway there.
Embrace diversity, especially in your backgrounds, and you're sure to come up with some great ideas.
Time management is very essential, so try to plan, manage, and organize your time properly.
Do not be afraid when you encounter steep learning curves while programming. The internet has an amazing community of people always willing to help.
Remember that you always have a role to play. Choose a team that complements and empowers your skills.
Our biggest weakness lies in giving up. When facing an issue or a bug, the most certain way to succeed is to just try that one more time.
Try to focus on one problem at a time. Do the most important task first, and of course, don't forget to have fun.
Observe your environment for solution ideas, and most importantly, don't be lazy or hesitant to start or continue the project.
You will never know unless you try. So go ahead and try out your brilliant idea.
Amazing. So yeah, I like that last statement. You'll never know unless you try it. So try out your brilliant ideas. So we are imploring you to go ahead and work on those ideas. So what we're going to be doing in the next coming weeks is that we're going to be allowing you guys to form groups. You're going to come up with your groups, and so we're going to share with you a form where you're going to register your group, the idea that you're going to be working on, so that we can assign you a mentor to start working on your projects as soon as possible. So yeah, I hope you've learned something from this video. And yeah. So if you are there and you want to know what it takes to be a part of the solution challenge, it is very easy. You have to be a part of a Google Developer Student Club. So I know that everyone that is here, at least, is part of one, and you're part of the one for MUK right now. Maybe you're coming from another university that also has one. So you need to be a part of that. Then form a group of 4 people. You need to be four people to work on your project. And so your solution is supposed to be solving a problem, a local problem in your area. Supposed to be solving a local problem. And also you should align with one or more of these UN Sustainable Development Goals. We have no, just like you can see here, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, all these. You can choose one or two or more than those to, for like, you can choose any of these, okay, to align with your solution. Yes, and also you're supposed to be using some of the Google developer technologies, for example, Kotlin, Firebase. You can also use, which other Go technologies are there? You guys know better. I know you do. So you're supposed to also be using some of the Google technologies. Your solution should align with one or more UN Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, and also, yeah, be a part of a team, be a part of a chapter, a Google Developer Student Clubs, which I know you are already in. So without wasting any more time, okay, let me play for you another video that is about the previous solution challenge, which was this year in January 2021. They were announcing the top 3 teams. So enjoy.
So now we're going to announce the People's Choice Award. I do not know which team has won yet, so I'm on the edge of my seat, just like you. I'm going to see it on the slide. But first, I want to mention that we had over 2,000 of you voted. So thank you so much. Again, I have no idea which team this is going to be, but I'm excited. So with that, let's announce the People's Choice Award winner. Awesome. Congratulations, Team EL from Egypt. Great work. You had tons of votes. Wonderful. And I'm so happy that a lot of folks were here to cheer you on. And great work. You are the People's Choice Award winner for the 2021 Solution Challenge Demo Day. So great work, Team EL. Loved your project. And next up, we have a special honorary mention. This is something we're doing a bit differently this year, and we are going to be announcing that in just a minute. And then we are going to share with you who the top 3 winners are. So definitely stick with us. Message your friends on WhatsApp, Discord, on social, email. If people are still using email, I'm just kidding. But definitely tell your friends. Join us to hear the top 3 winning teams. You have about 30 seconds. While you do that, I do want to mention the honorable mention. After the judges were awesome. They did take a few weeks to review all the projects for them. They listened today, and they did want to have a special call out to a team that was really focused on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and did a really good job with impact. So we do want to call out this team. So the team with honorable mention is Team Flow from Cameroon. Great work. We loved your project. Very important topic of helping people find clean water. So great work. We really loved what you did and how you solved for this UN Sustainable Development Goal. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. You are the honorable mention for the 2021 Solution Challenge. Thanks so much. And next up, we are finally going to announce the top 3 winners. I am not going to keep you here any longer. I want to get straight to it. So thank you so much to the judges for going through impact and technology, diving deep into each of the top 10 teams. So the final 3 winners of the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge are, the first team is Dementi Care from Singapore. Great work, Dementi Care. We love this project. Wonderful work, important topic. And I know that you're already talking to organizations, so keep up the good work. Thanks so much. You're one of the top 3 winners. Thank you, Dementi Care. Now let's move on to the next team, number 2. Who do you think it's going to be? Do you want to mention in the chat? There it is. It's Eye of God from India. Great work. You worked on this awesome IoT project, really pulled in some good technology, and you did a great job with this. So Eye of God from India, great work on this project. You are one of the 3 Solution Challenge Demo Day winners. So wonderful work. And lastly, but not least, we have the third of the 3 winning teams. And who do you think it's going to be? Let's check it out. It's iRise from the Philippines. They had matching shirts today. You might remember them. Great work to iRise. We really like this project as well. Definitely solving for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Great work on impact and technology. So great work to Team iRise. Great work to Dementi Care and also I've God. All three of you are the winning teams. Congratulations. And along with mentoring with Googlers and Swag, each student from all of these teams is going to be winning a Chromebook and also a meet and greet with an executive. So once again, I just wanted to say great job to all the 10 finalists. We loved all of your projects. And congrats again to Dementi Care, I've God, and also iRise. Great work, everybody. So lastly, we just wanted to close out today. It's been a couple of hours. Thank you for sticking with us. And I know people are dialing in from all over the world, a lot of people from Egypt, India, and all over basically. So thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you to everybody who took part in the 2021 Solution Challenge. You worked on your projects from January to March and longer. We had over 800 projects, all very inspiring, and you were solving for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So great work to all of you. And thank you to you, everyone who's here right now, live with us, watching. Thank you for cheering on all of these teams, for being active, for asking questions, for saying hello in the chat. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And now a few final comments. I just wanted to remind you all to claim your Google Developers Badge. I did that already in between the breaks, so I'm set, but are you? Definitely grab your badge. And next, we do love feedback. We do. What did you think about the event today? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? It's okay. Feedback is a gift, as they say. Even when it's tough, it's helpful. So definitely let us know what you thought about this. Should we do it again next year? Let us know. And lastly, if you want to learn more about GDSC, also known as Google Developer Student Clubs, please do go to this link, goo.gle/GDSC, and think about starting a Google Developer Student Club on your university campus, or joining one, or just supporting us on social. And great work to everybody today. Thank you so much for joining us. That's it from us. I hope that the Solution Challenge has inspired you all as much as it's inspired me to continue to think about how we use technology for good. So I hope to see you all here next year. Thank you all so much for joining. Bye, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, hope you've had everything. So those were the top 3 teams. They usually have the top 10, and those top 10 are able to win swag together with all the other prizes. And then from the top 10, they pick the top 3. So the top 3 get a Google Chromebook. They get a meet and greet. They have an opportunity to have a meet and greet with a Google executive together with all the other prizes that are given to them. There's also, they get a team that has used the UN Sustainable Goals very, very well. Those are always nominated. They also nominate, they nominate the team that has used the UN Sustainable Goals very well. So you have to make sure that your project aligns properly with the UN Sustainable Goals, that it solves a need in your community, and also uses some Google developer technologies. Yes, so she talked about the feedback form. They always get feedback from people. So guys, immediately after this session, they're going to share a feedback form in the chat. It doesn't have so many fields. There are like 2 fields. We just want to know who you are and what you thought about the session. Very, very short. So feel free to give feedback about this session, how this event has been after the event. The link will be shared. So we want to know how this event has been, and you rate us, yes, so that we can do better next time. So without wasting any more time, I'd like to invite the first speaker that we have.
So now we're going to announce
Okay. The first speaker that we have, he is called Samuel Mugisha. He's an ex-lead for Muni University. Right now, he's a mentor there. And so his team was the pioneer. They were the pioneers for the solution challenge. They were the first people to join the solution challenge when it started. And so, in fact, they even became winners. That was in 2019. So we are going to have a chance to hear from him, share his experience with us, and any tips that he has for us as we go in for the solution challenge. You're welcome, Samuel. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Harima, for this organization, and I'm really glad to be here. I'm by name Samuel Mujisha, and I'm a developer. You can say I hold a bachelor's in information systems from MUK University, that is in Arua, and I'm pursuing my master's in computing at Utamu in Nakawa. I also work with BRAC, an e-learning specialist, and I manage and coordinate the e-learning activities at BRAC. And I as well have a startup company called Shamson Technologies Limited, and we are located at Zana, Entebbe Road. Yeah, we do some software development, website design, and the rest of other internship or training, etc. So in case you're around, you can as well pass by. I offer free Wi-Fi. The skills I have, you can reach out to me in case you want to find out about Flutter. I do. And I do Python, in Kotlin, and then the rest of the HTML, the JS, and other small frameworks around. Yeah, as she said, we were the pioneers of the developer students clubs. And when we started in 2018, we had 2 chapters in Uganda. That was MUK University and Deje University. So that's how we started. I'm really glad to see that it's growing up to 14 chapters right now. As a DSC lead or the Google Developer Students Club, as she said, it is just an initiative with Google that, you know, whatever guys study in class, and those who do not get an opportunity to study in class, the ICT, can find that environment where they can, you know, nurture their skills and then, you know, learn something for their own good. So I would as well, point this out to Halima to bring some other people, like from the healthy department and the faculties, from the rest of the engineering. You know, that's how you can try to merge your skills to come up with something. So we started as, you know, starting up something, and we, through events, calling up people from different places, trying to teach you something. Yeah, until Google brought in the solution challenge. I always call it the World Cup. Like, you know, different people play football from different clubs, and then they come up with something for a golden prize. So the solution challenge is the golden prize, and I'm glad that I'm seeing the solution challenge is now growing. The prizes are growing, and this really gives you a challenge to involve in this. By the time we joined Solution Challenge 2019, of course, there were a lot of other clubs that were running in the other parts of the world. Uganda had just received their DSC in 2019. That's how we started. But however, there are other DSCs that had been running, and on the solution challenge, we had to compete in 2019, and that's when it was brought, and we were the pioneers. That slot were the pioneers of the solution challenge. And yeah, we had other projects that we were doing, and I would urge you guys to make sure that you submit as your chapters, you submit as many projects as you can. So we came up with a product. First of all, I think I forgot to say it. We won the Global Solution Challenge of 2019, and it was led by me. We were a team of 3. Yeah, we were a team of 3. I was with Josh, and then Samuel. Yeah, some other guy called Samuel. So that's how we competed with the Solution Challenge. So winning the solution challenge was not something easy. It is something competitive as well. And we were competing with a project called immunization calculator, and we were trying to fulfill one of the 17 goals as she mentioned to you, and we were tackling goal 3, that is good health and well-being. That
I can't hear you, Mugisha. Oh. Samuel, I think you've lost you a bit. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? I think he's going to try to rejoin. Okay. So yeah, just like he said, it is easier when you're mixing with people from different faculties in order to come up with a very brilliant solution. So you guys can go ahead. You have friends from those different faculties. We will try as much as we can to get people to join, but you guys also know your friends there. So you can team up with them. This is just one of the so many sessions you're going to be having about this. You're going to make sure we develop solutions that are going to be really competitive. So I just tighten your seatbelt. This thread is just getting started. We are going to be if you're wondering how to come up with a solution, how to come up with an idea, you're going to be having a speaker for that as well, who is going to guide us on that. But yeah, this is just getting started. If you already have a project that is really good, you can just sharpen it, like mold it in the way that is required to be presented for the solutions challenge. So yeah. Okay, so as you wait for Samuel, is anyone here? Does anyone here have a question about the solution challenge, about what Samuel has been talking about? Anyone with a question? By the way, before we continue, I'd like us to like just in the chat to type the college that you're from. Just go ahead and nice, yeah. Okay, waiting for those colleges, guys. We want to know the different colleges that you're representing. Okay, I'm from courses, by the way. Courses, you may also put it. Nice, nice. Any person from the medicine section? Anyone from medical school? All right, thank you very much, guys, for those that are typing in the chat section. So actually even make the circle bigger. Invite your friends from the different colleges. Say that and courses is dominating. So we can have people from other colleges because this is for everyone that is interested in learning tech. So if you have a friend that is in a different faculty, but they have a really great passion for tech, you can invite them. Yeah, you can help us reach the people that we cannot. Yeah, you can be our advocates. Yes. Okay, so I see some questions in the chat. It's actually one. Right. Are we going to receive information about the challenge in the social media? Of course, yes. If you are on our different social media platforms, we are going to be sending out information about it. And just like I mentioned earlier, you guys can go ahead and team up, form teams, because you know the schedule at MOOC right now. We are trying as much as possible to cover everything in a very short time. And so it's going to be really, really tight as the days go on, but we can start working on it right now when we still have the time to. So you guys can go ahead and form teams, work on those projects, work on those ideas, and we are all here to guide each other. We are here. You're not going to be alone with your team, no. We are all here in case of any questions, in case you find any challenges. We are here. That's why we are in existence. Yes, so you can go ahead and team up 4 teams, maximum of 4 people, not 4 teams rather. It's a maximum of 4 people per team, but you can form as many teams as you want, as many teams so that we have a high chance of representing Macquarie University on a global level. Yes, so you can go ahead and form those teams. We'll be sending out a form for you guys to register your team and your ideas so that we can assign you a mentor for this. Yes, I know we can do it. Yeah. All right, so what's the maximum number of people per team? It is 4 people. And it would be good if you if there's some gender balance, maybe 2 females and two guys, yeah. Yes, and also if you have people from different faculties, because everyone brings something unique to the table. And make sure that we're going to be having in the coming sessions, we'll also have a hackathon. So in that hackathon, the people that registered their teams will be the only, not like the only ones, but of course, for you guys to help us better prepare for this, you guys have to really be up your game and register these teams so that you can better prepare for all of us. So after you register your teams, you'll have a solution, rather a hackathon that will help mold our ideas to the level that is required for them to participate to qualify for the solutions challenge. How long does the solutions challenge take? We start the process in January, and then the winners are announced in March. So yeah, they're like two, yeah, they're 2 months. But of course, in case of any changes, all the information will be on our social media platforms. And in case you want to know more, you can Google about the solution challenge. There's a lot of information out there on the media about it. On YouTube, you can watch some of the videos.
Hello.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm really sorry. I had to switch my
Yeah.
network service. Sorry.
It's okay.
I think I still have my time. I think I still have 15 minutes.
Yeah, you still have some minutes. Yeah.
I was talking about the solution challenge. We are trying to fit the goal 3 of good health and well-being, and we were a team of 3, as I said, and we are trying to solve a problem that young children do miss vaccines. And this is sometimes because of the parents being maybe uneducated about the vaccine their children are supposed to take, or else the busy schedule of these children. So that's what we are trying to capture. And we had on our team, we had a health worker. He is called Dr. Emmanuel, and he was working with World Health Organization. So he's the person who took us through the immunization and how it is done and everything about the policies. So we were trying to concentrate on this product. So we learned about the immunization. We tried to come up with the immunization calculator. And if I could share my screen, share. Okay, I can. So that was the project. Under winners. So we were trying to make sure. If I go on Google, I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, so we were trying to do an application that can automate these vaccines. You know, a child has vaccines he's supposed to take. Like, for example, there is those given at birth, after 6 weeks, etc., after 12 weeks. And these vaccines, they are dosage. Like, for example, polio, you're supposed to take like 4 doses. Now, if I task most of you to go and check your immunization card, you realize that you missed some. And even, I don't think whether any of you still have their immunization card, because these things get lost. So we brought in the immunization project to make sure that, you know, let's get the data of this child. And even though you move from here up to any other part of the country, you know, from the database, they can retrieve your information that, you know, this person took this vaccine, he missed this, he did this, and then they can try to advise accordingly. So whenever you see someone suffering from polio, suffering from these communicable diseases, the immunizable diseases, just know these are people who defaulted vaccines during their ages. So these are people, literally, you're supposed to take all the vaccines up to one year. So within a year, you are supposed to have taken all the vaccines you're supposed to take as provided by the Uganda immunization staff, the UFNP something. So that is the project that we are trying to participate with. Got a client that was WHO. Of course, he started giving some money. Yeah. So we learned a lot of things from there, and successfully we won the solution challenge. And part of the prizes, remember, it was a pioneer thing, and we got access to a lot of Google technologies, and others were training. We learned a lot from Google developers, and the rest of the things were the swag and mostly helping us, nurturing this product into something. So right now, the project is lobbying for funds. It's now a big project under this company, and right now it does a lot of things. It can now, for example, process data for if I go to it, immunization calculator. So it can process data for DHS2, like that is a district health management system. So at least it can know this place they immunize this amount of children. This one needs this one is defaulted. Something like this. This is the project. I don't know if you can see. Can you?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes,
So
yes.
This is the project. We tried to test the project in Chegegwa district at Health Center 4, and we tried to get something. This is Zambia Medical something. I'm just trying to show you something that we are on. It is promising. Right now we are planning to see if we could fully test it for like 1 full year. I tried to test it, but I went out of funds and the rest of the things. There are some SMS subscriptions that are supposed to do, because the client gets SMS, the mothers get SMS about the immunization, the upcoming immunization, or the missed dosage, or anything, something like that. So on November 11, this coming, I think next week, I'll be live on TGTN TV. That is China. China something telecom network, that TV. So I'll be live at 3 p.m. trying to talk about the immunization, and what else about immunization? So why am I bringing this? I'm trying to let me just even stop sharing my screen. Why am I bringing this? With solution challenge or with this competition, you can do you can do anything. First of all, if it can solve a problem, and a real problem, if you could see something that can help, and don't look very far, just look within. That's what I advise. That's what I advise people. Just if you are explaining to the panel, just make sure they understand the problems you're going through. Because trust me, if you fail to understand your problem and making sure that you can explain your problem to someone, to feel empathy for it, then trust me, most of the judges on that panel are white, and these are white that don't experience problems we are experiencing. So it is you now to ideate. That's the good thing with this session, the ideation stuff, because they are training you to ideate an idea, to ideate something from zero to something, to what is the problem? What am I solving? Who am I solving it for? Those are questions that they're going to help you answer. You understand? So I think I'm left with a few minutes that I can leave for questions, but otherwise, I'm looking forward to be joining you as well for some tech event somewhere, somehow.
Hello, Samuel. Hello. Can you hear me, Samuel?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so there are some questions in the chat. There is this for students only? Hello, Samuel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, someone is asking whether the solution challenge is only for students.
Solution challenge is not only for students because if at all it is connected, unless it is changed, but initially if it's connected to if whatever is done is under the Google Developer Solution Challenge, Developer Student Club, then that qualifies it to be, in fact, that is the best, because that means you are trying to relate the DSC with the community, because DSC is not only, it would be Google Makerere Developer. You understand what I'm saying? It is not only the student, it's just a club located at Makerere, but the essence of this club is to develop the community. So if you could try to do it in making sure that you can join a community member, you are trying to solve a problem. Because, like, for example, us, we were trying to solve a problem with a health worker. Though we disclosed this health worker as a client. That's how we disclosed this person, because he was a client and he was funding the project. You understand? So it is really thoughtful if you are to connect a community or a community person, especially if you are solving a problem for that someone. Your project would be complete. Develop something and a community is already using it, which can be now your part of your chapter. That is okay, unless otherwise.
Okay, thank you very much. And there's another question. Can one person participate in more than 5 projects?
That can be possible, but I would not advise that, because unless try to do a project and give it your best. Like, you see, if you have 4 projects, like for example, Makero, why are you doing the rest of the things alone? Because let it be, well, if one club wins, that means if one of your team wins, that means the whole club has won. So at least try to nurture people. So why would you, as if, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're not one. So if you try a base and you have 4 projects, each project has 4. Now, that is the importance of DSC. At least try to train these people. So this person will concentrate on the firebase of this project. This one will concentrate on the firebase, so that you give it all. You understand? You get ready for understanding your problem. In fact, I would advise Halima to make more of ideation sessions and problem-solving project sessions that people can understand their problems. So at least I think not more than 2, not more than 2 projects, and at least be in one, trying to give opportunities for the rest of the members, and you just extend your expertise to the rest of the members. I don't know if you get me.
Yes, thank you very much, Mugisha Samuel. Assign tours, this is not only for students, because you're saying, by the looks of it, it's open for students only. No, as long as you're under a GDSC chapter and you're collaborating with other students, you don't need to be a student of Makerere University to be a part of this. As long as you're under the any GDSC chapter, you are eligible to participate. So it's not for only students, but it's for everyone that is a part of this community, or in this community in any other university. I also saw another question here. Can students from different universities join the solution challenge? Yes. In fact, there are also chapters in those different universities, Lubega Tasha, if you could drop your university name, because it could have a chapter already and you're not aware. Which university are you from? And if your university doesn't have a chapter yet, you can be a pioneer. And for this solution challenge, you can join our university to work on your project together with students from our university. Yes, thank you very much. We have 1 minute, and let me use it to thank you, Samuel, for your time and for your words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing with us your experience about the solution challenge. And we know that we have gotten so much, and we can't wait to be a part of it as well. And yeah, win like you did. Thank you very much, Samuel. Okay, so right about now, I'd like to, right about now, I'd like to introduce someone, our second speaker. She's called Miss Damali Sali, the founder of Ideation Corner. I won't say so much about her. I'll allow her to introduce herself better. Thank you very much for sparing your time to join us, Miss Damali Sali. You're welcome. The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, Halima, for inviting me and everyone else who is attending this particular session. I'm happy that you're present on your Saturday. And I had asked Halima to ask you guys what questions you wanted me to respond to, because sometimes I don't want to talk about things you may not be interested in. And she has shared some questions for me to talk about. In terms of intro, I am simply Damali Sali.
Nga tukimato bakola ne wedding ne bawe naye bagezezzaako
Don't worry, Maria, could you please mute?
Yeah, in terms of introduction, I'm basically Damali Sali. I'm an accountant. I've done trade facilitation, a lot of words there, but then also I founded the Ideation Corner. You can Google me. I encourage you to do that because you guys are techie people and Google is your friend. So if you want to know more about me, you should Google me, because I could spend a day talking about myself, but I won't. I don't want to bore you. So I think I've been asked to talk about generally the ideation process, but having gone through some of the questions you asked, but then also having gone through a little bit of some research on this the Google challenge, I feel like I need to give a general overview before I get into basically the ideation process. And from what I could see, and I'm glad that Mugisha has just spoken to us, from what I could see from the last challenge, at least Uganda wasn't represented in the top 10, which is unfortunate. Of course, it was shocking for me when I went to research it. So I would have loved if Uganda at least was at the very least in the top 10. So I'm hoping that this year we are in the top 10. So and this now falls on you guys who are planning to enter into the Google challenge. And also from based on what I could see is that they are very much focused on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and these goals are very clear in terms of, I mean, they're stated. They're looking at stuff like poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, water and sanitation, clean energy, so that's around climate change. So these are all problems that are literally in our faces. They're right here, if all the ones I've mentioned off the top of my head, they're right here in our faces. And the idea for them is that, look in your community and pick a problem and then try to solve it. And it has to be, and if we look in our community right now, most of the problems that we're going to see are going to be problems that are literally in this aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. So if I was you, for example, hypothetically right now, if I look outside my window, and that's what Mugisha was trying to tell you, get a problem that is present. It's right there. You can relate to it. You can connect to it. You don't need to even look very far. So you will not have to worry too much about it. So problem, if I look outside my window, for example, right now, what problem do I see? It rained heavily last night. It's been raining heavily almost the whole of this week. We've been getting a lot of flood waters because I'm on a bit of a hill where I live. There's been a lot of storm water. It's been basically the drainage has been swallowed up with the polythene bags, so the stormwater can't actually go in the drainage anymore because of the polythene bag. So it's going through the road, it's eroding the road, so we have deep gullies in that particular road as it goes down. That's a problem I can see right there, right in front of me, and I experience it. It affects me. It affects everyone who lives in my particular community. Even if you drive, the fact that the storm waters are there and they're affecting, destroying the road means you can't actually drive through the road easily. And then if you walk, if you're using your borders, again, it's a struggle. If you're walking, it is a struggle. So that's a problem. I can see it's right there. It's not far from me. And I can connect it to one of the SDGs, i.e., climate change or clean energy. So in a way, that's how you need to your process of ideating or identifying the problem should be that simple. It shouldn't be theoretical. It shouldn't be something that you look so far out of. Also, again, if I look outside my window right now, I can see kids are playing. They're a little bit of teenagers. They're hanging on the street, and I know they should be in school, like, for example. So what is the problem there? Yes, the kids haven't been able to go to school because of COVID, and basically 2 years of being lost of school time. That is a problem right there in front of me. I can relate to it. I can connect to it. I know my cousins, my nieces, my relatives who haven't gone to school because of that. So that's a problem that's not far-fetched. It's right next to me. It's not far-fetched. I can connect to it. It's also connected to the SDGs, i.e. health. So when you're starting to conceptualize or ideate around the problem, I would urge you to find a problem that's right in front of you, because that's the easiest problem to connect to. A problem right in front of you is a problem that you can easily articulate, is a problem that you can easily document when you're starting to write the problem statement, because it's a problem that is next to you. Just off the top of my head right now, I've been able to explain to you 2 problems, just like that, because I can connect to them. They're right in front of me. They're not far-fetched. Of course, eventually I'll have to get, if I decide to go with, for example, the storm waters eroding the road where I live and the drainage issues, I would of course have to get some data. I may now need to go do some research and say, so what is the impact on a community if the storm waters continue to eroding roads? What's the impact on that particular community? How does it affect the poor people in that particular community? How does it affect actually everyone in that poor community? What impact does it have on the economy in that community? Then I would eventually have to do research. But the primary problem is a problem I can define easily, simply, and it's right in front of me. And that's the beginning of everything. The beginning of everything is the idea itself. As long as the idea is simple, and an idea will be simple if that idea is something you can connect to. And if I could say, for us, it's easy to get ideas that we can connect to because we have problems right in front of our faces. So I urge you, as you're starting with the ideation process and trying to define what or identify the particular project you're going to do, start with the problem right in front of you. That's what I would urge you to do. Then you would get on to the point of where you are figuring out, okay, the problem statement, but the problem itself should be a problem that's right near to you. Someone did ask about, say, for example, the team, and I like that it's already been discussed that the team should be a balance. It should be a balance of skills. So if you have the person who does the techie bits, then you also need someone who does the marketing bits, because standing on the outside looking in, for me as a non-techie person, I'm not a techie person. I study technology from the perspective of how can technology solve a problem. I didn't study technology in terms of me doing the programming at all. So, but what I know about techie people who can do the programming is that they're usually not very good at communicating what their technology is doing. So usually the balance of skills I would encourage you to have would be someone who definitely knows the technology, can develop the program, but then also someone who can communicate to non-techie people the problem in a very simple way and what the solution does, in a way that non-techie people can understand, because the people you're developing the solution for are not techie people. So you have to be able to explain it in a way that normal people can understand. And then you need to have also someone on there who understands now, like my if I go with my storm waters and the drainage and the issue with that in my community right here, I would have to get someone on my team who understands these problems, who really actually is in that department, has studied about this, because then they'll be able to give me the answers quickly. It will be easy for us to do the research. It will be easy for us to get the back end of the background of the statement. So those are the balance of skills you kind of require. You need, of course, the person who can do the techie components. So if that person, if that same person can also easily communicate to non-techie people what the problem is, excellent. But then also someone who is in that very department or is an expert in that area. If you decide to get a problem that is to do with education, then you need someone at least from the education department, even if they're just an advisor on your team. You just get them and they can still be advising on your team, and they don't necessarily have to be on the actual team, but you still need someone in that particular area and expertise. Then someone also did, I think, I saw from the statistics of the survey that was done as you guys were communicating who is coming in, and I realized that around 17% of you of them were women. I would encourage you that if you're doing if you're trying to get a team, now I've had from what Halima said, team must be maximum of 4. You have to make sure at least you have some women on that team. The reason I say that is that studies have shown that a balanced team has a higher chance of success than a team that is not balanced. And they did these studies, Harvard Business Review did it, Wall Street Journal did it, and they were consistent that any team that is diverse, it has a 20% chance of more success than one that isn't. The reason why that's just it is because we have different perspectives. So if you have a team of all guys and you're trying to solve this problem, my drainage problem here when it rains, there's some basic things that you may actually miss because you don't have a female on your team. So it's just good to have actually a balanced team. Of course, the balance should come with technical expertise. So I'm not just saying have a guy on your all-female team just because he's a guy. No, have a guy because he has expertise in a certain area. Also, I'm not saying have a female on your all-male team because she's a woman. No, she comes with competences. But you definitely should have a team that is diverse. Do not have an all one gender team, whether all men or all women. They're all bad. Just you need to have a little bit of balance, but of course with a balance of competences. And also, I would urge you before you even start, as you're trying to figure out what problem you're trying to solve, I would urge you to make the website that the challenge website your friend. When I went there, I realized that these guys have literally given you the entire exam. They've given it to you. But study about it before you even start. That's what I would encourage you to do. So when I was looking there, I looked at their evaluation criteria, which they provide. I'm pretty sure everyone in all these countries is just looking, before they even begin, they look at the evaluation criteria. So it is 100 marks for whatever solution you're going to do. It's 100 marks. And they've broken it down. Impact of your solution is taking 60% of the marks. Then technology is taking 40% of the marks. Then they've gone further to break it down for you to say, impact, 10% of the marks was if your solution is solving one of the UN development goals or more, you get 10%. That's one component. Then they tell you the second component is how effectively will it solve the challenge that you've identified. That gives you 20%. Then is there evidence of the next step? That is 10%. So they've literally given you the exam. You just need to follow these steps before you start. So in fact, if I were you, or if I was to give you advice before you even start, look at the evaluation criteria of whatever solution. Because they say it's always better to understand what you're trying to solve before you start solving, because going backwards is a problem. You basically spend more time going backwards to correct something than if you did it correctly the first time. So I would urge you, if you're going to be interested in this stuff, go to the evaluation criteria so that you understand how will they be marking your solution. The beauty about it is that they've given you everything. These 100 marks, they've broken it down with every question and how much that question, if you get it correct, if you do it, you're going to get the marks. So imagine the first marks, 10% of your marks are you solving one of the sustainable development goals? Yes or no? It's a yes or no. If it's a yes, you get your 10 marks right there, tick. Then you go to the next one. So you need to understand the evaluation criteria before you even start, actually. Before you start, go and check out the evaluation criteria. It is actually on the website. I was particularly interested also in because as on that same website, they give you kind of the timelines. And as I was going through the timelines, I noticed there are several steps. They tell you, first of all, you need to join a Google Developer Students Club, which Halima was talking about. Second, you have to form a team, which is what you've been asking about as well. And then third, select your select has to be connected to the SDGs. Then the fourth thing, which I found very, very interesting, which is something you should use, is that they've told you to identify a solution, and they have a design sprint. I think that's what they call it, a design sprint. And this design sprint allows you to basically play around with the problem before you invest your time in that problem, to see is it workable. Now, my idea of this drainage problem, I could go into their design print and put it in there and try to figure out, does it work? Does it make sense? Do I answer all the questions? And if it doesn't, before I even develop the solution, I can, change my problem before I invest time in it. So I encourage you to also then go also do, when you go to their website, to look at that step number 4, which is looking at the design sprint. But don't look at these things in isolation. Look at all of it comprehensively. So if I were you right now, that's the first thing I would do. I would educate myself about the challenge. And educating yourself about the challenge, they've given you every piece of information you need. All the answers are right there. All the questions are right there. So you read through, and it should be you and your team. You read through and then try to get. In a way, by them giving you the evaluation criteria, they've already stolen the exam for you. And now I know that the teams in the other countries, that's what they're doing. That's what they do. They go to the evaluation criteria, say, do I get this? Do I get this? How much do I get? How do I need to do? So you work backwards instead of working towards, you're winning the thing. Work from the criteria, the evaluation criteria, and then work backwards to get a solution that actually fits into the evaluation criteria that allows you to get those marks. Because I would definitely love for Uganda to have maybe 4 teams in the top 10. And if we do that, if we actually follow evaluation criteria, follow the steps, because one of the things that I also saw is that you need to be okay, they don't tell you have to, but using their technology also gives you some marks. So you, even before you design the problem, you need to know, you design the solution, you need to know that to be able to make sure that that mark you're going to be able to get. So inform yourself before you start solving, before you start getting the solution. Inform yourself. Otherwise, you end up trying to go backwards and to undo it, which would then be a bit of an issue. So, and sitting here in Uganda, I think it's, in a way, we have several things that, even if I decided not to look outside my window, I know are a problem. One of it, of course, is education, which has been connected to COVID. The other bit is health. The other bit is, of course, climate change. I was in Kalangala recently, and there was an island that has been split into 3. So the middle part, so they had a mosque in the middle of the island, and because the water has submerged both sides of the mosque, they now have 3 islands, and one of it is the mosque is just hanging there. No one can actually get to it. So climate change is also a bit of an issue, and climate change currently is a topical issue globally. So climate change is affecting us, it's affecting everyone in Uganda, and it's a topical issue. So that's a nice one to even have a solution to, if it's one that you pick. So we do have quite a lot to pick from in terms of problems connected to the SDGs that you could look at to solve. I encourage you to set up a team that is diverse, not all men, not all women, and then also read up about the criteria, what they require you to do before you start investing your time in the process. And I think there were some specific questions that were asked. One person asked, must the person who comes up with the idea be the one who is the project lead? I would say no, not really. The project lead, because these are different aspects. Of course, someone who comes up with a problem may also have wonderful leadership qualities, but also someone who comes up with a problem may be actually really good at the techie component, and then maybe they don't have to be the lead. So it's something that, because also leading has different skills and requirements that are required. As a leader, as a project lead, you need to coordinate, you need to be good at people because you're managing the whole team, you need to be good at communicating externally with because you're probably going to be the one trying to sell the project or market the project, or or sell the idea. So if you have the one who came up with the idea also having all those skills, fine, great, let them be the project lead. But if they don't, then you get someone else who can be the project lead, who didn't come up with the idea, but they can be the project because they have all these other competences. So it depends on competences. And don't look at this when you're setting up a team. Don't look at this as a competition amongst the team members. You're one team. So whoever has the right skills gets into the position where they have those skills, wherever you have the competences, because all of us are different. I have different competences compared to, say, my friend. And when we team up, we are supposed to leverage our competences, not compete with each other. So whoever has the best competences on communication takes up those beats that will require someone to be communicating. Whoever has the best competences in terms of being a project lead takes up that particular role. You're not competing against yourself. Actually, you're competing against all the other countries in the world. So it defeats the purpose for people in a team to be competing about who is the project lead, and it's just a title. And don't usually get hung up on titles. It's just about what skills do we have in this team of 4, and how can we deploy them to make sure that we win. That's the view you should actually be taking. And it shouldn't be who has the best idea, who's come up with the best solutions. The team has come up with the best solutions. The team is supposed to be competing with other teams, not competing in it by itself. So it shouldn't matter who is the project leader. The project leader should be whoever has the skills that a project leader role requires. That's it. That should just be the basic criteria. And then I was asked, when the other question was I was asked is, okay, what would I consider when I'm choosing a team? I think I've mentioned that there has to be some gender balance. There has to be competence balance. Don't have a team where everyone in there is a programmer, or a team where everyone in there, is a talker or marketeer or a seller. Have a balance. Then also, I would say, have a team that has, you guys are in the same, or speaking to the same problem, the same direction. Now, if I go back hypothetically to my problem that I mentioned, the rains and then the drainage and the fact that it's affecting my general community here, and then I want to select a team who's going to work with me for us to say that this is our problem that we're going to try to solve. Ideally, the team members I should be selecting should be team members who also care about drainage. So if I select someone who doesn't care much about drainage, this is not, they didn't care much about it. It means I would have someone who is not as committed as I am, someone who is not as fully purposeful as I am. So get people who, for them, or all of you there, find this as a problem. Because then it's easy to work on a problem that you connect to than, for example, working on a problem you don't connect to. Because, for example, you're going to be as a team together for a copious number of hours each day trying to get this thing to work. If you have any member of the team who is not as committed as the other 3, that member of the team is going to drag you. And their commitment is purely based on, do they connect to that problem or not? Because if you're going to spend as much time on this problem, it better be something that you connect to, or that affects you, or that you care about. If you're dragging someone to be part of your team and they don't care about my drainage problem, then you're really affecting them. They can't give you 100% because they don't care about it, you see? And yet you see to get 120% out of me because I care about it. So ideally, whatever problem you solve, whoever the team members you get should be team members who care about the problem you're trying to solve. Because when people care about a problem they're trying to solve, they usually give 120%. When they don't care about the problem they're trying to solve, they only give 50. It's not their fault. It's just they have no interest in it. So you've just brought them on board maybe because of their techie skills, but they should care, because then it's easy to work on something that you care about and give it 120%. And given how competitive this thing is, you're going to put in a lot of time. It's a short time, so you have to put in, work very long hours. Ideally, the 4 people you have should be all in, all working 100%. Then someone asks, what is the minimum viable product to be able to get into the design challenge? I would encourage you to definitely go read on that website, because they tell you the minimum, the minimum requirements for you to be able to submit. So you definitely need to read those requirements. Read them before you start. All of you, read that evaluation criteria and everything before you start, because then you will know exactly the minimum product that they need. Because I saw in the evaluation criteria, one of the things that would also even get you marks is that has your solution been tested? Even if it's been tested on 5 people, has it been tested? If it's a yes or no, you get some marks. Okay, if it's a no, of course you get no marks, but if it's a yes, you get some marks. Then they also ask, has your solution had any feedback and then corrections? If it's a yes, then you get some marks. If it's a no, then you don't. So they literally break down what your solution is supposed to have. Like I said, they've literally given they've stolen the exams for you. The thing you need to do is to understand what the questions are. They've already told you what the questions are. They've already told you the marks for those questions. You can even mark yourself, actually. In a way, they've done it in a way that you can even mark yourself. So I would encourage you to go read the criteria and get every detail, and even the marks, because the marks are there. And then they ask, can you make it through the challenge if you do not have a working prototype? I think you can go to a certain level. Again, it's also this is based on information in the evaluation criteria. You can go to a certain level, but definitely you will not be able to even to show them a demo, because the demo should ideally be of the prototype. So if you look at the demo, they have demos in there, even there in YouTube. You see that people are actually literally presenting a solution. So if you don't even have a prototype, how are you going to even be able to do the demo? So it means you'll never get even to the demo stage. So you really won't get anywhere. But yeah, find what the criteria is. And then someone did ask, yes, there were other 2 questions there that someone asked: web development and computer technology. And I wasn't so clear about what the questions were saying. So if you're on here, or whoever asked those 2 questions, or the 2 people who asked those 2 questions, I'd be happy for you to elaborate on the questions so I can answer it. And so I think that's my input on that. And if I would just recap the key things before you start, go on the Google Challenge website and read everything, literally everything. The beauty about it is that there everything is very little. It's not much on there. You can, if you dedicate just 1 hour, you can actually read up everything that's there and then to know exactly what they need, including the evaluation criteria. Then go from the evaluation criteria to go backwards and then identify the problem you want to solve. And identifying the problem you want to solve, like I said, it should be something simple, a problem you can connect to, is easily like that. Something that is you're not fetching out of your head, something that you can see, that touches you or most people in your community. That's the kind of problem it should be. Then of course, picking the team, like I said, team should be diverse, not all men, not all women, but also diverse in terms of competences. Not all techie people, not all one department. Get someone who also knows. If my problem was education, I should get someone at least who has some, even if they are going to be just advising the team, because they're limiting you to 40 members, but they're not limiting you to the number of advisors you can have. So you can have several advisors who have other competencies. So the diversity in the team should be both in gender and also in terms and competences. But those competences, because sometimes you may need more competences than just what the 4 people can give you. Competences, you can also get advisors to your team who have other competences that you guys may not have, to complement you. And then the other piece of advice I would give you is to work together, even within the team. There are no glamorous jobs or roles in the team. As if you're working as one team, you're one team. You being a team lead or not being a team lead should not matter, as long as all of you are submitting something. Then I would also encourage you, because now I could see that on the last year we didn't have any Ugandan team as part of the top 10. I would encourage you to even work together. You're not competing against yourself, by the way. You're competing against the whole world. So I would encourage you to also work together. If you know that there is a team X, team Y, and team X has this person who is fantastic, you should be able to share some of these resources and say, yes, a member of team X still comes and helps us here on team Y, because at the end of the day, you're all Ugandans and you're all trying to submit, something that at least one of the Ugandan teams or 2 of the Ugandan teams can go through. So share information, because I'm pretty sure these countries also do that. Share information, share competencies, share skills, help each other to develop, the best solution, so that we can submit really fantastic solutions as a country, so that we have a better chance of making it in the top 10. Don't compete against yourself. Let's compete as a country. Let's say this is Uganda and we're going together, even though we have teams and we have a team doing education, we have a team doing this and that. Let's still together, work together to help each other, even as the teams, go. Because it doesn't hurt to actually have 3 teams, Ugandan teams in the top 10. We are not competing against ourselves. We are competing in terms of we solving problems to do with our country. We have a lot of problems. So we shouldn't be trying to compete against ourselves. We should be competing to get as many teams within the top 10 that are Ugandan as many as possible, because it means we will be solving Ugandan problems. We Ugandans will be solving Ugandan problems at a much higher rate, which is the best way to do it. Let me see. I think those are the main key highlights I would like to give. Then before I usually give these talks, and sometimes I have some life lessons I like to share. Some things I've learned along the way. They have nothing to do with the ideation session, but they will help you generally with life. And because I feel like sometimes there's some things I wish I had known when I was younger, but I've just learned through experience. So whenever I'm talking to you people who are young, I like to share them with you so you don't have to go through the experience part that I had to go through to learn them, because we all don't have to suffer. I mean, we who suffer earlier should share with you guys so you don't have to suffer through the issues that we did suffer through. So I usually, before I end any conversation with you young people, I like to just share with you a few lessons I've learned over life, which I hope you can apply so that you don't have to basically suffer or go through experience to learn them. Then you kind of go further. So one of my first lessons I gave is that I've learned, and there's several studies out there that show that you're the total sum of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So whoever you're spending your time with, just assess, do they add value to you or do they not? And some people you spend time with, and it's not by choice. I mean, they're your family, or they've been your friends since nursery school. But assess the 5 people you're spending most of your time with, do they add value or do they not? And then, because you're going to be the total sum, the average of those 5 people you spend your time with. So make sure the people you're spending your time with add value to you, are supportive, are encouraging, are pushing you to go further, pushing you to go higher, pushing you to, achieve more. So be careful on who you're spending your time with. And this also goes to effectively also what you spend your time on. So if you look, you become those things that you spend your time on. That's just it. So you can't magically become an engineer if you're spending most of your time basically listening to music. You can only become an engineer if you're doing engineering stuff. If you spend most of your time listening to music, then you will become something music related. So also, assess what you're spending your time on, and then see, is that what I want to become? If there were times when I used to spend a lot of time watching series. It's something I used to do. It's still a struggle for me because I love TV. But the amount of time I spend watching TV, for example, watching series, if I had put it in something, or if I was even aware that I'm spending literally 8 hours binging, and I know I'm spending 8 hours binging, which means I need to put in 8 hours on the thing I want to be, then I'll be much further than I am if I'm not even aware. So whatever you spend, you become what you spend your time on. You become the average of 5 people you spend your time with. So whatever you put in your time is what you're going to become. So if whatever you put in your time is not something you want to become, then change it. You have the power to change it, so change it. As long as at least now you know that. That's just the fact, the way it is. Then also the other thing that I would say is recently I've realized also a lot of and I know you guys are young, so you're on various social media platforms, but a lot of what we consume on social media platforms may not be something that is actually helpful. I'm not saying don't get entertainment. Entertainment is good. You need to rest your brain. But if you look on your timeline, and 90% of the stuff on your timeline is actually just entertainment, funny things, and then every time you spend time on social media, on your timeline, you're spending 90% of that time, or even 100% of that time, just fun time, just having fun. You're not learning anything. And yet nowadays we're spending so much time on social media. So, and I did read a study somewhere that actually on average people, and this is a very conservative estimate, that on average people are spending at least 2 hours a day on social media or online, 2 hours per day. That equates into 14 hours per week, which equates into 56 hours a month, which is 2.3 days. That is 2.3 days a month, literally, which equates into 28 days a year. Yeah. So if you're spending 28 days a year on social media, because that's what we do, what are you consuming? If what you're consuming is something that builds you, yes, that would be fantastic. 28 days well spent. If it's not, then that would be really a waste of 28 days. So what I did, because I also would like to be practical, is I tried to go through my timeline early this year, and wherever I saw stuff or content that I knew spends my time, I tried to get rid of it. So for some reason, the algorithms of these social media platforms, especially Facebook and my YouTube ones, for some reason they decided that I love hair stuff, African hair stuff. So they started bringing up all these videos where someone is braiding their hair, someone is, and it would take my time. I could spend an hour just watching those videos. Or it will come up with these videos of dogs and cats. I love dogs and cats. Then I waste my time actually watching those. I could spend an hour because one comes up after the other. So now I decided that, you know what, this algorithm is not going to outsmart me and steal my time. So I'm going to literally clean up my timeline. So I try to clean up my timeline. You can clean it up by changing the things you watch, because then if the algorithm lands and starts showing you most stuff depending on that thing that you're watching. So on social media, we are spending a lot of time there, but make sure that whatever time you're spending there, at least 50% of it. And we read a lot when we are relaxed, or we learn a lot when you're relaxed. When your brain is relaxed, it consumes, it's able to absorb more. And we're usually on social media to relax. So if some of the stuff that you're reading to relax is something that helps you, then that's the best way to actually learn. And the only way to do that is for you to pay attention to your timeline and make sure that what comes up it makes sense. Then if you're a bit of an old timer like myself and you use like emails like Gmail, it's nice to have Google Alerts. So if I were you, like I would have a Google alert for something to do with maybe ideation, something to do with SDG, something to do with your techie things. I would have a Google alert, because I found that those actually bring up topics that I want to see or read about, and it's easy for me because I can just go into my Google alert and then I read. I know I'm going to spend maybe 20 minutes just going through my Google Alerts to read the few things that I've specifically asked for, and then they'll come through. Then if you're one of those people who loves to read, one of the books that would help you so much throughout your entire life is a book called Atomic Habits. You actually don't even have to buy the book. You can just Google it and there'll be snippets. The key things about the book, they'll come out. So that's a nice book for you to read. It's called Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits argues that if you spend basically 30 minutes on anything, whatever that thing you choose it to be, within a year you will be an expert without knowing it, because all you're spending is actually just 30 minutes. So Atomic Habits is a wonderful book to have and read and get. I have a few ladies here. I usually like to give some advice to ladies. Yes, do we have? Yes, I can see Elizabeth, Angela, Diana, Halima, of course, Rhoda. We have a few ladies here. Some advice to the ladies I like to give is that 50% of success is literally just showing up. But the problem we normally have is sometimes we ladies don't show up. So when we don't show up, we are minimizing or killing our chances of success by 50%. And then we blame things to say we want success, but the biggest problem is that we are not showing up as much as we should show up. So 50% of success is literally showing up. So I would encourage you, whatever it is, show up. If there is a training, show up. If there is a mentorship, show up. If there is a hackathon, whatever, show up. If there is an online conference, show up. 50% of your success is literally going to be based on you showing up. So please do show up. Turn up, show up, be present, be there. And that's it. And a lot of men, for them, the biggest thing they do is they tend to show up. Studies have shown that men show up more than women show up. And therefore, we as women lose the chances because we did not show up. We're showing up a lot less. And yet 50% of success is showing up. If you're not in the room, you can't get that opportunity. And yet if you're in the room, you've at least increased your chances by 50%. So we need to show up. So I think that's the piece of advice I would give to ladies. And then generally also about life, I was reading about, so there's this village in Japan. It's called Okinawa. And when they were doing studies, they found that village has the happiest people in the world, who live the longest in the world, who live long, but they're also healthy and happy. So they wanted to find out, so how do the people of Okinawa have these long, happy, healthy lives? You find a 90-year-old still walking, so they're having a long life, but it's not a miserable long life. They're not 90 and vegetative. They're 90 and they're still walking. They're still active. They're 90, but they're still happy. And generally even young people are happy. Basically, people are happy in Okinawa. So they did this study to find out, so what's up with these Okinawa people? How come they live these long, healthy, happy lives? And it's not like they're all rich. No, they're all like everybody else. They have a few rich people, a lot of middle class people, and a lot of poor people. But the commonality among them is those people are all healthy, they're all happy, and they all live long into their 80s. So when they did this study, they found that these people have a thing called ikigai. Ikigai means that you find that thing that makes you happy and you do that thing. Now, of course, some of us don't have the luxury of doing only that thing that makes us happy. Some of us, you still need to have a job. The thing that makes you happy may not be something that actually can earn you money. So the advice they normally give is that, okay, fine, do something that makes you money for you to have a living, but make sure you also find out that thing that makes you happy so that you can do it, find time to do it. And for you to decide what thing makes you happy, you need to say, if I had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, what is that one thing I'll still be happy to do? That's going to take you some time. It takes time for you to figure out exactly what you would like to do if you had all the money in the world and all the time in the world. But once you figure it out, that's the thing that makes you happy. If you're lucky enough to find that the thing that makes you happy can also make you money, then please go ahead and do it and make money out of it. If you find that the thing that makes you happy is not something that can be monetized or difficult to monetize, then I would urge you, yes, do what you have to do, but also make sure you find time to do that thing that you enjoy, because then you'll have a happy, healthy, long life. Then they also found that those people from Okinawa, each and every one of them at least spends 30 minutes on exercise per day. This 30 minutes on exercise doesn't mean that they go to the gym, doesn't mean that they jog for 30 minutes. No, it could be walking for 30 minutes. It's simple, but they're physically active for at least 30 minutes, each and every one of them for at least 30 minutes. And it could be simple, or, you walk, you take a walk, it's a leisurely walk, but at least 30 minutes. And it's sustainable because it's just 30 minutes and you figure out what you want and then you do that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I had to say. If you have any questions, you may ask me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mali. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. We can listen to you over and over and over and over again. Thank you very much. I feel so, I don't know, inspired, energized to start working. Yeah. Yes, and the people in the chat that are thanking you as well. Thank you so much for sparing some of your time to speak to us, to inspire us, to push us to reach great heights. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mali. And in case any of us has a question, feel free to either unmute and ask it, or you could type in the chat section. Yeah, we have less than 20 minutes on the call. So if you have anything that you'd like to say, anything, it can be a question or any other thing that you'd like to say, feel free to either type or even unmute. But I'd like to thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you. Does anyone have something to say? Yes. Okay.
There's someone who's asked in the chat if they can tackle unemployment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yes, there is one of the SDGs is work, jobs, and economic growth. So you can definitely tackle unemployment. However, I'd urge you to also go look at those SDGs. The first thing you basically should do before you decide what to do, like I said, go on that website and read everything, because if you read everything before you start finding the problem and solving it, it's easier than for you to start going backwards. So go read everything. Actually, I think let me see, where is it? You should get Halima, it may be good for you to just share with them the link right now to the challenge.
Okay, let me do that.
Because every piece of information you need is there, and I would encourage you, before you start, read it, every page, because it's not much. If you just focus on it for just an hour, you will have everything, every piece of information. And because we are trying to win this challenge this year, make sure that you read the evaluation criteria. They've given you the exam. You know, like when I was growing up back then, we would say "Bakwa daka tua." They've literally given you the exam. So go read it, and then you start finding the solution when you know the questions. You know, they've given you the questions, so please go read the questions, then go back and answer those questions. Start from that way. That's the way to win, actually, especially when they've given you how to win. They've given you, this is the criteria. Are you solving an SDG? Yes or no, you get 10 marks. Is it connected? Have you used Google Technologies? Yes or no, you get 10 marks. You know, they've given you everything. So go read fast before you start solving. Because after you read and you know what they're marking, then you go backwards and solve it, because now you know what they're marking. Therefore, you will develop something that is in line with what they're grading. You even know the grades, right? So it's the easiest thing to do. So yeah, Halima has just shared the link right now. So you guys go to that link and read it before you start anything. Read everything that's on that link. They have the answer, they have the questions for you. They tell you what the SDGs are. There are about 17 of them. You read about them. Then you read the evaluation criteria. You find out exactly how they're going to mark you, exactly what question is going to give you how many marks. Then you go back and then determine, okay, what problem will I be trying to solve? There was someone earlier who asked, can I have 3 or 4 projects? You can, but you don't have a lot of time. We're in November right now. And Halima, when do you guys have to submit?
We are basically setting the whole thing in Jan.
Okay.
And the submission is like in March.
Okay, but now for you guys, you can start reading the stuff and defining your problem and before you go, because Halima is going to start the official thing in Jan. But you can actually start working on it right now. And I would urge you to do that, because I can guarantee you other countries are doing that. They're not waiting for Jan. They're doing that. So do that. They've given you everything, the criteria. Now go back, get your teams, join the, what is it called? You have to be in a Google Developer Club, get your teams, get your problem, start getting a problem statement, start working. So that by the time Jan comes, you're literally just running with it. Because other countries are doing that. You're not just competing in Uganda, competing with the whole world. And I'm sure if I was them, that's what I would do. So since I'm talking to you guys, do that.
Yes. Let's do that, guys. Thank you very much, Mr. Mali, again. And something that you said that really resonated with me is showing up. Yes. A lot of opportunities that I've been able to get, I got just by showing up. So let's show up, guys, for anything that we are interested in, technically, anything in a different lines of career, anything, just show up. You don't need to have everything put together for you to you just have to be available, and opportunities will just like everything will lead to the next. Yeah. And also, yes, let's continue to share with our friends. Yes, we do. I know my team is doing a very good job in trying to share, but also when you get this information, please push it on to the next. Continue telling other people about this, because of course our aim is to put Makerere University on the map, to put Uganda on the map, of course, and yeah, also build ourselves. Yes. There's a feedback form that was shared. Please give us some feedback about how the session has gone, how you found it, and how we can make it better for you next time. More things are in store. Just keep if I don't know whether the social media, the links to the social media platforms have been shared, but if they haven't, guys, please share them. so that in case you're not on our social media, on any of our social media platforms, you can join and be able to get all this information that we have in store for you. Yes, we are here to help all of us be able to succeed. Yeah. Thank you very much. And in case anyone has anything else to say, you could go ahead and do that now.
Yes, hello, Alina.
Yes, Eddie.
Yes, thank you so much. This is Damali. Well, my question would be that,
Edwin, you're not so clear.
okay, can you now hear me very well?
Not really. No, please.
Okay, let me just type the question.
Okay. So anyone else, as Adrian types, anyone else has anything to say? It could be a suggestion. I don't know. And for the ladies on the call, I want to say thank you for joining in. This is bold. And yes, we can have more ladies. Please share with your friends. Yeah, we need to have more ladies invade this space. Yeah. And for the guys, please share with the ladies in your circles to be able to join. Next time we have sessions. We want to be able to help as many people as possible. Let's all work together. Adrian, I'm waiting for your question in the chat. Okay. Having had an idea, how can I identify people with the same vision and passion for my idea to put them on my team? So, Mr. Mali.
Okay. You have the idea. I think, given that I'm sure you have a social network, but luckily for you, since Halima is organizing these, you can't start off by even this very network that you're with. You could say, fine, I want to solve hypothetically my drainage challenge here. And you ask the people here and say, I want to solve my drainage challenge. Who wants to join my team? It's as simple as that. And then they'll tell you, yes, I'll join my team. These are the skills I have. So use the existing network that you do have, but of course tell the people what it is. Tell them, yes, I want to solve the drainage problem here, and then you submit that, and then those who are interested in, say, who is interested in this drainage problem, who's passionate about it, and then they'll tell you, yes, actually I am passionate about that bit, or I'm not, and therefore they don't join. So just ask, just tell people, and then you find those ones who are passionate about it. Because like I said, if you have someone who's passionate about a problem in your team, it's easier to work with them, and then it's easier to get the best solutions. Because when someone is passionate about the problem they're trying to solve, then they're more likely to come up with better, be more creative, come up with better solutions than if they're not. So when you're trying to get your team, you're trying to get maybe the techie person on your team, find out when they tell you, I want to join your team, it will be, are you interested in the drainage problem? And if they are not, and they are techie, then you can still source for someone else who is interested, who is a techie, who is interested in your problem. Or you could still have them even if they have no major interest. It's just that it's just much more harder for someone who's not passionate about something to work on it. So just tell people, this is the problem now. If right now I was, in fact, one of you people, I would have been saying, my idea is I want to solve this drainage problem in my community. I want to get a solution. Is any one of you familiar with such a problem? Is any one of you interested in joining me to solve this problem because it matters to you? And then if people say, yes, I want to join you, Damali, to solve that same problem, I would ask them normally, so how does this drainage problem impact you? What does it mean to you? Does it affect you in any particular way? That person may say, actually, yeah, I live in a place where we have a slum just beneath and so many people are affected. Then I know that person can connect to this problem. Then I know they can definitely join. But if their response is, yes, I want to join you, Damali, and then they're like, okay, how does the drainage problem, how are you connected to it? And then they're like, well, I don't really have any connection to it, but I just want to work with you. I may have a bit of a problem because they may just want to join the team because I'm on it, not because they are connected to the problem. But the issue with that is that when I wake up in the middle of the night and we're working 6 hours just to get our solution finished, and we're working 6 hours into the night, this person may not be able to give me that 6 hours because they're not passionate about it. So, but just find out, just say what your problem you're trying to solve, and ask people who are interested in joining you to solve that problem. And just ask around.
Yeah, that is very, very true. You can use the community that is already in existence. Hope that answered your question, Adrian. Okay, and there's another question. What is the program for idea development? I really don't get this. Charles, if you could kindly unmute and ask this question. I really don't know what you mean by this. I mean the sessions, how often shall we be meeting? Oh, we shared a roadmap in there. Are you in any of our social media, or not any of our social media platforms, the Telegram channel or the WhatsApp one? We shared a roadmap having all the different sessions we'll be having till December. And then we'll also be sharing one that will start in January. But for now, we have sessions till December, like our roadmap that shows all the sessions we'll be having till December. If you don't have that roadmap, we'll share it in the group. If you're not on any of our social media platforms, guys, the link should be in the chat by now. I don't know whether it's been shared, but one of us is going to be sharing the link. Yes, but we are having a cloud session, but all our sessions are going to be over the weekend, like on Saturdays. We have a cloud session coming up. We have a combined session coming up where we'll be working on a project. We're going to be having a task that is going to entail using all the other technologies that we talked about before, web, and then in Android, also the cloud that is going to be happening soon. We also GDSC MUK and GDSC Mauritius also we collaborated, and we'll be having a workshop, a Python workshop that is going to start next Thursday. So if you are registered on our chapter, I'm sure you've received an email by now. But if you're not, there's a link in the group where you can be able to join our chapter, and also the Telegram group. We'll be sharing more information there in the Telegram channel. So yes, we're having a Python workshop coming up that is going to be happening every Thursday, starting next week on Thursday. We're having a cloud. I've talked about that is happening on the, is it on the 6th? No, today's the 6th rather. I think it's on the, I don't know, remind me guys. We're having a cloud session that is happening some Saturday. I think it's the other Saturday. And then we're having a combined session, and then we will be having a hackathon. Yes, so all the teams that are going to be registered, that have registered for, register their projects via the form that we'll be sharing soon. Yeah, the cloud session is on the 20th of November. So yeah, all the groups that are going to be registered with us, like the groups that you will have registered, are going to be able to be a part of a hackathon where they'll have people get to we'll have people that you will be presenting your projects to better mold them and make them really good, give you advice, and in case you're missing out on something and you need someone to help you out, so we'll have those people that will help you out. So you guys be ready, look out for that as well. We'll be sharing everything. Yes, so the hackathon is going to happen from the 18th to the 20th of December. And all the last two, the combined session and the hackathon, are going to be in-person sessions. So we can't wait to have you. So they'll be hosted at MUK Hub. I'm sure you know where MUK Hub is. It's in Makerere University. Courses, Block B, Level 5. Yes, so we'll have everything sorted for you. Refreshments, we'll have some swag for you. So get ready, start working on your projects. But before you start working on your projects, make sure that you have read the documentation of the solution challenge that we've shared with you. Yeah. We have only 3 minutes left. And at this point, I'd like to thank you, everyone that is on this call up to now, from the time we started to the time that we're going to end now. Thank you very much for being patient, for sparing some of your time on a Saturday afternoon, which is evening now, to get some knowledge and learn, connect with us, and share with us as well. Thank you very much for being here. Looking forward to connecting with you even more through our social media platforms. If you want to share your link to your LinkedIn or Twitter, you can drop it now, and then we follow you, get to know what you're up to, what you're doing. Yeah. You can follow Miss Damali Sali. She's an amazing person. Very, very good. Yeah. So you can follow her. She did drop her socials, links to her social media platforms. So you can go ahead and follow her, follow what she does with the Ideation Corner. It's very intriguing. So go ahead and do that. Check out the recording on our YouTube channel. We always record our sessions. So if you missed any of our sessions, you can go to our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see all the recording, all the different sessions that we've had, and watch them. Yeah. So Mr. Mali has just shared a link to her Twitter right now, so you can go ahead and follow her if you haven't. Yes. Yeah, thank you again. We have only 1 minute, and at this juncture, I don't know. Follow Ideation Queen. Yeah, Queen Damali, she is wonderful. She is amazing. Yeah. Miss Damali, Angela loves you. We love you, Miss Damali.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll share with you the Ideation Corner channel on YouTube, and then also my Twitter handle.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We're left with a few seconds to the closure of our session, and it's now 5 p.m. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks,
Yes,
everyone.
thank you so much, Miss Damali.
All right. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye, guys. Thank you. Someone has a podcast. Oh, yeah, this is for Miss Damali, her podcast. So you can go ahead and